Thank you for joining us as we look at this week's lectionary readings. Today let's talk about the gospel reading from Matthew chapter 10, verses 24 through 39. A disciple is not above the teacher, nor a slave above the master. It is enough for the disciple to be like the teacher, and the slave like the master. If they have called the master of the house Beelzebul, how much more will they malign those of his household? So have no fear of them, for nothing is covered up that will not be uncovered, and nothing secret that will not become known. What I say to you in the dark, tell in the light, and what you hear whispered, proclaim from the housetops. Do not fear those who kill the body but cannot kill the soul. Rather fear him who can destroy both body and soul in hell. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? Yet not one of them will fall to the ground apart from your Father. And even the hairs of your head are counted. So do not be afraid. You are of more value than many sparrows. Everyone, therefore, who acknowledges me before others, I also will acknowledge before my Father in heaven. But whoever denies me before others, I also will deny before my Father in heaven. Do not think that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to set a man against his father, and a woman against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and one's foes will be the members of one's own household. Whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever does not take up the cross and follow me is not worthy of me. Those who find their life will lose it, and those who lose their life for my sake will find it. As a young child, I was on the way home from church, and I told my parents that it felt like God and the devil were fighting over me. I wanted God to win. That was my initial profession of faith. It was very simple then. I wanted God to win. I wanted to go to heaven instead of hell. At 7 years old, that's about all there was to it. It was a good place to start. But as I grew older, I discovered that there is much more to discipleship. The call to discipleship is a daunting invitation, one that we should take seriously. First, Jesus tells us that the goal of a disciple is to be like the teacher. We see in Jesus' life the model for our own lives, as challenging as that probably seems. It's amazing to think that we are supposed to be living like Jesus. Living up to that challenge will be difficult, and it'll come at a price. Following Jesus will divide us from one another. Sometimes we have to make unpopular stands. We will likely lose some friends over those stands and probably make some enemies. Following Christ means loving him even more than we love our families. Parents and children are vitally important, and we should love them deeply, but we love them best when we love Jesus most. Jesus even asserts that the way of Christ is more valuable than life itself. If we would follow Christ, we must be willing to take up our crosses, be willing to lay down our lives for Christ and for his gospel. The requirements of discipleship are high, but Christ offers hope. Jesus shares in our sufferings. People will treat us no worse than they treated him. The worst our enemies can do is kill our bodies. God will preserve our souls. And God is with us, counting the hairs of our heads. The one who cares for the sparrows will certainly care for us. Discipleship is a difficult challenge, but it is certainly worth the effort. Let's walk together in the way that leads to life.